Take a deep breath in, then slowly exhale all the stress out of your body. That calm you're feeling right now? That's what you get with HubSpot. Their all-on-one customer platform takes all the chaos of business and replaces it with one single powerful platform for all your teams. Generate better leads for marketing, close more deals for sales, and earn more 5-star reviews for service. So don't hold your breath. Visit HubSpot.com to learn more today.
All right, folks, welcome to The Science of Scaling, a show about how to scale your sales and revenue. I'm excited about today's episode. It's a new one, a new series that we're doing. I'm joined by my favorite producer, Matt Brown. He's been behind the scenes up until now, and we're going to dig into the mailbag to answer some of the questions from you all. All right, so look, scaling is tough, and we cover a lot of ins and outs of finding success all over the show. But when it comes to sales and revenue, I know there's lots of questions you have that we didn't get to about your company, your work, your career, whatever. So that's what we're doing. One question in one episode at a time. If you have a question, send it over, and there's a million ways to do it. You can post it on LinkedIn to us. You can email the show at podcasts@hubspot.com. So PODCASTS. That's plural, at HubSpot.com. Or if you're on Spotify, you can there's a Q&A prop that pops up. You can put it there. That's a direct line to the show. I want to hear the questions. I want to make this valuable for you. So let's do it. Matt, what is today's question?
I love this energy, Mark. All right, first question is about the future and like future challenges. So what are the future challenges specifically in the revenue space that you're predicting? And what would you do proactively now to set a business up for success?
Okay.
I'm leaving in that deep sigh and some silent space to really emphasize the weight of all of this.
Yeah, I just don't even know where to start. It's not that I'm lost for words. I'm trying to think about how to take all the crazy thoughts that are going through my head right now and organize it into something that's consumable. Let me do this. If you're in startups or an entrepreneur, I just really believe that this is the best time in the history of humans so far to be in startups and entrepreneurship. That there's so much change that's coming in our society because of AI. And I always tell my students that leaders of big companies run the world, but entrepreneurs define the world. The fact that we were able to bring these products to market defines how big our phone is, whether we use a monitor, how we talk to each other, how we get to work. It's all through entrepreneurship. And this is the best time ever. And what we're in the midst of here, which we'll circle back to your question, is this is such an interesting time for visionaries and creatives because a lot of the stuff that's coming out in AI right now is iterative. It's going to go under. It's just like in the internet. Like in the first wave of the internet, it was you dial up through AOL, you bring up a Netscape browser, and you search through Alta Vista. They weren't the ultimate winners. Like that was the hype. We just thought the internet was putting your company brochure online. We couldn't see Uber or Zoom or Snowflake. That's where you are right now. All these companies are iterative, and the big category winners haven't even been started yet. So we have to go through the hype and the crash, and then we have the sustained winners. And so the most important yet challenging task for entrepreneurs today is to understand how the problem is going to be solved in 5 years, 10 years. Knowing that the technology is not ready for that and the buyer's not ready for that. And come up with a way to make money today while you simultaneously build the moat to win the long end game. Lots of people did that really well. Bezos probably did it best in the last realm. It's 1996. He quits his hedge fund job, and he doesn't quit it to become a book salesman. He quits it because he believes, as this internet's coming out, that people will buy everything from clothes to furniture to food online. But we're not ready for it. So he makes a list of 50 products and he chooses books because you don't have to touch it to have confidence in the quality. There's 1 million new SKUs every year, high profit margin, and we're ready to buy it. Point one. And point two, it allows him to build a decentralized warehouse structure in cheap parts of the country with a delivery mechanism to get everyone a book in 2 days of ordering that builds his moat. So when we are ready to buy furniture, clothing, food, he can win that game over Walmart. That's what we have to come up with, right? So if we bring this back to sales, I don't know, like let's just hypothesize that the end game is you come to a website and up pops a Zoom, what looks like a Zoom call with a salesperson. Matthew, how are you? Thank you for coming to our website. And I happen to be personalized to the gender, skin tone, dialect, and age that you trust. If you trust like a woman from Alabama that's in her 60s, that's what pops up. And they execute a beautiful sales call. It's like, why'd you come to the website? Tell me more about that issue. Have you tried to solve in the past? What didn't you like about the solutions? Tell me about your optimal solution. When do you have to solve it by? What's the implications of not doing it? Like I'm going a little too fast, but you get it. And so if that's where we end up, obviously the tech's not ready and the buyers aren't ready. So how do we beachhead it toward there? Well, what we are ready for is we are ready for a AI sales assistant or engineer to join our calls. So I'm a salesperson. I'm relatively new in my company. I'm 3 months in. I have like my 3rd sales call in my history with this company. And they ask me some questions that I don't know the answer to about the product, about whatever. Hey, John, the AI bot, do you know the answer? Yeah, I actually do. Here's what it is. Here's how it works. Does that answer your question? Yes. We're ready for that. If it hallucinates, I shut it off. And now it's gathering the data and the at-bats to learn. And at some point, it can switch roles. And the AI bot is ready to run the call, and the human is the assistant. And again, they can turn it off if it hallucinates or whatever, and it's training. And at some point, we're comfortable, we could just run it. So that's an example of like the iterative process. So that deals with the entrepreneurship side, but what about like the user side? We are not prioritizing the usage of today's AI as much as we should. Like there are speculations that in the next decade, because of AI, we're going to have our first $1 billion company that has 1 employee. I believe it. You know, I think we're going to be able to have law firms and hospitals and tech companies that do the same things that 10,000 employees do with 500 employees. And we're just not embracing it as fast as we can. And if you're like starting a company, try to rethink how many engineers you need to get through that roadmap through copilots and whatever AI tools are out there. And on the sales side, rethink how many BDRs you need, how many AEs you need to hit that revenue target. Because we're about to put up historic numbers if we truly embrace AI. So we got to do it because otherwise you'll be a dinosaur. I don't know if that came out organized or not, Matthew, but I think that's where we're headed.
No, I think that's great.
So I appreciate that question. Keep them coming. These are fun. See you next week.
The Sales Evangelist, hosted by Donald Kelly, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Each week, Donald interviews the world's best sales experts, successful sellers, sales leaders, and entrepreneurs who share their strategies to succeed in sales right now. Folks like Jeffrey Gitomer, Jill Conrath, Bob Berg, and Guy Kawasaki, to name a few. They share actionable insights and stories that will encourage, challenge, and motivate you to hustle your way to the top income status. If you're someone looking to take off in your sales career and earn the income you deserve, this is the podcast for you. Listen to Sales Evangelist wherever you get your podcasts.